warm welcome everyone, my name is Nick and welcome to the regular 2-week roundup where we look at everything reviewed on the channel in the last 2 weeks in case you missed them or in case you're forgetful and we just want a general roundup. Before we come to the top 6, this time round I did review a homebrew game which we might do every now and again for a subscriber on the channel called Ask A More. It was a Yankee in Iraq, which is a pretty good game. Started doing it in 1992, the basic code, then went back to it a little bit later, you could say about 25 years, and it was finished in 2017. Quite a nice game this one, a lot better than I thought it was going to be, being a homebrew, really good music, quite addictive gameplay where you control a helicopter flying through Iraq. You've got to go over it's over 3 stages, going over different missile bases and then destroy the baddie at the end in his palace. So a pretty good game, that good effort. I'll probably come to a few other homebrews. Someone else did comment on the channel there on that video that they've done some as well, so not immediately, but we'll come to those as well when I can fit it into the schedule. So check that one out, a Yankee in Iraq by Ask A More. Now, we always review pinball games. We're gradually going through season 6 of the Pinball Arcade by Farsight Studios. This time we visited Bone Busters Inc., published by Farsight in 2017. So if you want to have a look at that one, check that out. We won't dwell too much on these, and we'll go to the top 6 there. Not a bad little table. And the other one was Jack's Open, also by Farsight in 2017. Jack's Open is a bit more interesting for me out of the two. It's quite an old table, and you must hit drop targets, not really overcomplicated rule system. By hitting the various correct targets, you complete hands, they go down, and it goes to the next round. So that was Bone Busters and Jack's Open. Also as well, there was a game that didn't quite make the top 6 this time, in 7th place. Another dubious conversion by US Gold on the Commodore Amiga. It was LED Storm. A little bit disappointing. It's in the style of Spy Hunter or Action Fighter. It was Action Fighter, another one that wasn't very good on the Commodore Amiga. We'll be coming to it on the Spectrum at some point. LED Storm, the 128K version with the music. Maybe in a few weeks' time, maybe in a couple of months' time. I'm not overly sure, but this came out in 1988, a top-down racing game where you must avoid all the baddies, time's ticking down, you lose fuel for crashing and various things. Music is absolutely phenomenal on this game. It's a shame really, because the game just isn't really up to it, but the music is absolutely fantastic. If the game had been a bit better, it could have gone down as a classic because of that music alone, but unfortunately, even on my channel, in a random 2-week roundup, it hasn't even made the top 6, so comes in 7th place. Yeah. Okay, so the top 6. You might disagree with this order. I always encourage you to put your order below if you want to, and see how they differ, because a lot of it, as I always say, is a nostalgia, and there's one in particular here I might have marked down lower than you because I didn't own it back in the day, and now I just see it as a bit lacking. So anyway, in 6th place is on the Commodore Amiga, PAC-LAND by Grand Slam Entertainments in 1989, ported by from the arcade coin-up by Namco. Doesn't really capture all of the frills and spills of the arcade game. It's a lot better than the ZX Spectrum version I reviewed a few weeks back, where the Spectrum version had like a flip screen. This is a slight scrolling screen, so your character stays in the middle. I got up to a bit where you needed a springboard to go over a river. I couldn't do that, but you suggested either waggling the joystick or pressing the fire button, so I might go back to that. Graphics are okay. It looks very basic conversion. I like Pac-Man to be in maze type games. When I see him in level games jumping about the place, I start to get a bit worried. But there isn't, it seems a bit weird saying this, there isn't a great deal of depth there, but you're not going to get depth from Pac-Man. It's not like reading War and Peace or something. But I think I was a bit underwhelmed with it really. Pac-Man goes through various towns rescuing fairies and releasing them back into the wild. That's pretty much it really. Grand Slam Entertainment's 1989. And in 5th place, this is going to be the most controversial one of the whole top 6. I put Match Day 2 on the ZX Spectrum by Ocean in 1987. An evolution of the original Match Day and International Match Day. Ever so slightly quicker, but very marginal. I found the gameplay frustrating. It does introduce a power bar here, so if you have a bit of practice on the game, you might get better as time goes on. But yeah, coming back to it now with so many football games in between, I think it's a little bit lacking. It's got crowd on it, which is good. A change of strips. The music is really good on this, because this was on the no, it wasn't the 120k. It's 48k. I can't remember now. It's one of those two. It's on the Spectrum anyway. And it just left me a little bit underwhelmed. People suggested play Emlyn's Hughes' International Soccer on the Spectrum, so we might have a look at that. It's coming up. So 5th place, match day 2. And in 4th place, a movie franchise, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl by TDK in 2003. Some of you might have this in 6th place. It's an isometric exploration game. Could loosely say it's a platformer. Where you control Captain Jack Sparrow, or do you? It doesn't look at all like Captain Jack Sparrow. And it does seem to me that they've got a pirate game and then just put the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise over the top. But it gave me a chance to do pirate voices through the video, so I'll put it 4th. But it's quite pleasant. Bit repetitive, music is quite repetitive. Yeah, fourth place for it. It looks nice, but it's not. Yeah, different stages, land and sea stages, so got a bit of variety there, but it's a little bit dull. And you can get bored quite quickly unless you're really into pirate games, which you know. So 6th place was PAC-LAND on the Commodore Amiga by Grand Slam Entertainment in '89. 5th place, Match Day 2 on the ZX Spectrum by Ocean in '87. And in 4th place, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl by TDK in 2003. Quite often they are a little bit disappointing, aren't they, these film franchise games, but there you go. Now, the last few weeks I've been reviewing the occasional PlayStation 4 game, which we won't include in the top 6. It's unfair to compare that with retro gaming. Not quite as popular as the retro stuff, because you're a retro crowd, but it's always good to compare newer games with the older games to see the development. And this channel, I would say, will always remain retro. So yeah, we looked at Rocket League, which is absolutely outstanding on the PlayStation 4. You control a rocket car, you've got 2 AI teammates, and you must go up the league and score goals. Seems quite simple, doesn't it? Well, it's heaps and heaps of fun. If you haven't looked at that already, even if you are just into retro gaming, have a look at that one. I was debating doing a blundering series on that, but the video itself didn't seem overly popular, so perhaps we won't. But you know, let me know if you do want that. But it gets better the more you play it. There's upgrades for your car. You can download special cars as well, like a DeLorean and other things, Hot Wheels and other iconic cars. So yeah, I'd like to go back to that maybe in my own time, maybe not necessarily a blundering, unless you want that. Okay, so let's have a look at the top 3, and they're all Spectrum games. It's a Spectrum lockout, 1, 2, 3, but it's not surprising really, because we review about 4 Spectrum games every 2 weeks, and this time we reviewed 5. Anyway, in 3rd place, ZX Spectrum, Trailblazer by Gremlin Graphics in 1986. Very interesting game, this, very novel. Takes a bit of practice. Now you control a ball. It's a bit like Skill and Reflexes, another one of those addiction games where going through, I could say, a futuristic road going forward, a checkered road, you must guide this football over gaps, over jumps, and get to the end before the time runs out. There's certain squares that make the ball go slower, jump up and down, and you know, seems quite straightforward, doesn't it? But it's one of those classic games, a Trailblazer. There are a few other games like that. I think I've been told there's one on the Commodore Amiga with a slightly different name, which temporarily I can't remember. But it's on the list of stuff to review, because whenever you say, Nick, have a look at this, unless I reviewed it already, I would put it on the list, and we might come to it at some point in the future. To Trailblazer by Gremlin Graphics in 1986. Come third, because it's quite a nice novel game. And in 2nd place, a top-down racing game, it's Badlands by Domark in 1990. Also come out on the Commodore Amiga, which we'll look at some stage too. But I was really impressed with this. It's like a sequel to Championship Sprint and the original Super Sprint, but it builds off that. Cars are a lot easier to control than those last 2 games. You can slide the car around corners, get upgrades. You're racing in an apocalyptic world, different sets and scenarios. Sometimes if you get bogged down at the back, it's hard to overtake if the track gets narrow, but that's when a bit of skill comes in. And if you're looking for a top-down racer on the ZX Spectrum, I can really recommend Badlands. It's one of the better ones. Graphics are good. Sounds not too much there, but what is there, it represents it quite well. Colour clash is at a minimal. There's one track in particular where you go over a bridge, it gets quite bad. But yeah, car doesn't get stuck anywhere. Easy to control, quickly playable. And in first place, this time round, rounding it all off, is a Dan Dare, Pilot of the Future by Virgin in 1986. Dan Dare's based on the characters from Eagle comic, which originally came out in the 50s. Then there was a gap. Then it got out for another run in the 80s, and that's when I got hold of it as a kid. I got that magazine. Lots of cool characters in there. Doomlord, Joe Soap, etc., etc. Joe Soap won't get his own game, but Dan Dare is very British fare. He's like a James Bond in space. He's a space adventurer and he's saving the Earth every other week. So a little bit like Doctor Who without all the alien powers. His arch enemy is the Mekon, and in this platform game you just run around an asteroid he's got heading towards the Earth, find different components of a self-destruct mechanism, assemble it in the main control room, and then blow it up and escape with your life. Nice game. It's first in a trilogy of games, and we'll probably be coming to all of those at some stage too. So it's all about coming to stuff at some stage, isn't it, this video? But Dan Dare, Pilot of the Future, really recommend that game. So pleased to have it in first place. A stonking game. The Amiga Revisited series is sort of like coming to an end now. We finished it off with doing 2 scenery discs of Test Drive 2 by PAC-LAND, the European Challenge scenery disc and the California scenery challenge disc that went up yesterday. So that now frees that gap because we won't be revisiting any of the other Amiga games, although there might be an occasional special we fit in on a Sunday. So that frees up what I've been hinting at for a long time and announced in a previous log. We'll be looking at the Mega Drive collection on the PlayStation 3, starting with Streets of Rage from next Tuesday, and then the order will be pretty random with those. So that'll keep us going for a while. So excellent stuff. So summing up the top 3 then, in third place was Trailblazer by Gremlin Graphics in 1986, all of these on the ZX Spectrum. Second place, Badlands by Domark in 1990, and first place, Dan Dare, Pilot of the Future by Virgin in 1986. Thanks for watching the videos as always looking to improve it if I can. But I can't improve it if I haven't got much time, so it tends to be a slower process than I would want. But anyway, thank you for your continued support, really appreciated. Love the thumbs up, they help me. Comments on videos where you don't see they're as popular as other ones, that helps me as well. So thanks a lot, have a great weekend, until next time, take good care of yourself, and a very fond goodbye.
Goodbye.